Former SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi is in Japan ahead of Wrestle Kingdom 17, possibly to support the New Japan Pro Wrestling debut of her former Women's Tag Team Champion partner Sasha Banks. But in addition to Naomi, also Bayley has been spotted in Japan and will be at Wrestle Kingdom to support Mercedes Varnado. Got the very latest details on that. Matt Jackson will miss this week's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS. A title match has been announced for Battle of the Belts 5. Mark Quinn is currently out of action through an injury. There's an update on Jeff Hardy's professional wrestling future or lack thereof, and Keith Lee files an interesting trademark. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's where we're going to start today because Sasha Banks just days away, well, possibly 24 hours away from making her post-WWE appearance, her first post-WWE appearance, that being for New Japan Pro Wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom 17 inside the Tokyo Dome. Now, in December, PW Insider broke the news that Mercedes Varnado, known as Sasha Banks in WWE, was expected to appear at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 17 event at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th, noting that she's now believed to be done with WWE. Since then, multiple sources have indeed confirmed the report, and it is now apparent that Varnado is indeed in Japan ahead of the show. So, PW Insider first broke that story. Well, they've broken a bit more news when it comes to Camp Mercedes, because PW Insider are now reporting that Varnado won't be alone in Japan, as her former tag team partner Naomi is also expected to be in the country at the time of Wrestle Kingdom 17. Naomi, alongside Banks, was suspended by WWE for allegedly walking out on the May 16th episode of Monday Night Raw, with neither woman making any wrestling-related appearances since then. This is what PW Insider said, quote, PWInsider.com can exclusively confirm that Banks' WWE Women's Tag Team Championship partner Trinity Naomi Fatu is currently slated to be in Japan. Per the report, New Japan sources wouldn't confirm that they were bringing Fatu in for Wrestle Kingdom 17 and instead implied that the former SmackDown Women's Champion is coming to Japan and is simply traveling to the country to support her friend. Wrestle Kingdom 17 will feature the first defense of the IWGP Women's Championship, as Kairi will put the gold on the line against Cosmic Angel's Tam Nakano. Varnado is likely to appear after said match to challenge the eventual winner. However, it will be interesting to see whether she brings any company with her. Now, Naomi, certainly, she's going to be there, and the speculation will continue because, as I mentioned, Sasha Banks has a close friend who's also in Tokyo. She's not going to be flying solo to Japan. Naomi has since confirmed the news that she is indeed in Japan ahead of Wrestle Kingdom because she took to Instagram to share her location. Sure enough, the boss's former tag team partner is in Japan, likely just to support her friend in whatever she ends up doing on the biggest show of the year. However, we don't know. We seriously don't know. And at the moment, we don't know the status of Naomi's contract with WWE. It was expected to expire at some point within the 12-month period that she walked out of WWE from. She was actively renegotiating a contract with WWE, but we don't know if she was given a release. We don't know if she was still technically under contract to the company. Those details we don't know. Now, it's currently unknown what exactly New Japan's plans are for Banks, as she, at the very least, is reportedly set to appear at Wrestle Kingdom, but fans are certainly hoping it does mean a return to the ring for her. She was recently seen training in Mexico with WCW cruiserweight legend Juventud Guerrera, further perpetuating the notion that Banks was working on a squared circle comeback. As for Naomi, as I mentioned, it's currently unclear what her current contract status is with WWE, or if she would be considering, in addition to Banks, a New Japan Pro Wrestling gig as well. Now, it's not just former WWE stars that are going to be at the show. It's also, in addition to that, it's actually a current WWE star is also going to be at the show. Naomi isn't the only one traveling to Japan in support of Sasha Banks. PW Insider has, in addition to reporting about Naomi, has reported that Naomi isn't the only WWE superstar on their way to support Sasha Banks Banks in Japan, because former SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion Bayley is also going to be there for the boss's big moment. This is what PWInsider.com reported, quote, Venado will have some personal support at the event, even if not seen on camera. The word we heard making the rounds last night, which we confirmed this morning, is that Venado's longtime friend and top on-screen partner and nemesis Bayley will be in Tokyo this Wednesday. Obviously, Bayley is under contract to WWE and likely shouldn't be expected to be seen on camera, but we are told she will be there. In asking around, we could not confirm that WWE sent Bayley to the show, but it's entirely possible and probably likely she headed to Japan herself to be there for Venado, given their long-standing friendship at Wrestle Kingdom 17. But then again, to send the rumor mill into overdrive, Carl Lanson, another current WWE superstar, is also wrestling on the show to defend his never openweight championship. So Triple H has a much different way of looking at New Japan than Vince McMahon did. However, that's a kind of different situation. It's apples to oranges comparison, because the reason Carl Anderson, a current WWE superstar, is wrestling on the show is because when he signed with WWE, he still held the never openweight championship. When he signed with WWE, he had already verbally committed. He hadn't put pen to paper, but he had verbally committed to appearing at Wrestle Kingdom 17 inside the Tokyo Dome. And part of his deal to come in was, I still want to make these dates for New Japan. Once they're done, once I drop the championship, I'm exclusively yours. I would be very, very surprised if Bayley appeared on camera, but we are living in this new era when it comes to WWE, so anything's possible, but I think that's very unlikely. As I mentioned, we'll have to wait and see how Sasha Banks will debut in New Japan and if Naomi will be with her at all. But it's nice to see Bayley making the journey for her friend. As I mentioned, Kyle Anderson is also wrestling on the show to defend his never openweight title, so it could be a situation. It could be a situation, but I think that's very, very unlikely. As far as Naomi goes, though, I mean, anything, as I mentioned, is possible. The reason why Bayley's a bit more firm as she's definitely not going to be appearing is because she's under contract to WWE, and again, that just feels like more of a support situation. Naomi, we just don't know. We don't know her contractual status. Sasha Banks' one was different. Her contract was expiring in 2022, and when she got her release from the company, it was under the proviso of you can't make any wrestling-related bookings until your contract with us expired, which most likely was going to be December 31st anyway. That's not confirmation, that's speculation, but she is free and clear at this point. She is a free agent. She can do what she wants. Naomi, it's unlikely her contract would have expired at the same time as Sasha Banks, but what could have happened certainly is that she could have secured her release from the company at the same time that Sasha Banks secured her release from the company as well. So if that is indeed the case, there might be a different non-compete time, and if there is a different non-compete time, there could be a situation whereby she can't make any pro wrestling related appearances until later this year. As I mentioned, we just don't know. If we do get those details, of course, we'll discuss it here on the channel and we'll let you know. Now, we were, some people thought, going to have the final of the Best of 7 series this week. There's a week miss, and the reason there's a week miss for the final match of the Best of 7 series is that because Kenny Omega is going to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom 17. He's going to be wrestling in the Tokyo Dome against Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Now, at one point, it was thought that the Young Bucks were going to be wrestling at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom event as well. That's not the case, but Matt Jackson will not. He will not be in Seattle this week for Dynamite. Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks will not be appearing on AEW Dynamite this Wednesday when AEW makes its first appearance in Seattle. On the latest episode of Being the Elite, Jackson revealed the reason for his absence, saying, quote, "I'm taking next week off," he said. "I'm not going to be in Seattle, obviously, or the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom 17. I'm taking my family on a vacation, something I've been planning for a while. It is a Christmas idea. I've earned it. I'm happy." Now, since returning to AEW at Full Gear on November 19, Jackson has wrestled on 6 of the past 7 episodes of Dynamite, as he, his brother Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega have competed in a Best of 7 series against Death Triangle, that being Pac, Rey Fenix, and Penta El Zero Miedo, for the AEW World Trios Championships. Their most recent match, easy for me to say, saw the Elite defeat Death Triangle in a violent Falls Count Anywhere match when Omega nailed Fenix with a one-winged angel through a table on the in the sort of stands of the arena. The series is tied 3-3. It's 3 apiece, as the Elite have come back from a 3-1 deficit. Most likely, my prediction is the Elite are going to win the World Trios Championships and then feud with the House of Black. But again, that's speculation on my part. While Matt Jackson's status for Dynamite is known, Omega's is not. Omega will be wrestling hours earlier in Tokyo, but it's not impossible for him to be at Dynamite. Omega will face Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 17 as he attempts to win the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship in a rivalry that has turned very personal. I'd be stunned if Kenny Omega was at Dynamite on Wednesday. I know it's technically possible, but I think that's very, very, very unlikely. And they're not doing the match on the show for a reason, so I don't think Kenny Omega is going to be there. They might have a vignette, they might have a pre-tape that they've already probably filmed, maybe something like that, but I'd be very surprised if he was there. So don't expect to see Kenny Omega this Wednesday, because unless you're tuning into New Japan, in which you'll be able to see him face Will Ospreay, but don't tune into Dynamite to expect to see Matt Jackson, because by all accounts he's not going to be there either. Let's talk about Battle of the Belts. An interesting update actually on Battle of the Belts. Yes, another special's coming soon. This Friday night, AEW is running back-to-back hour-long shows on TNT Live from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Rampage will be followed by the Battle of the Belts 5 special. This was the same formula used for Battle of the Belts 4 in Washington, D.C. on October 7, a departure from the usually pre-recorded specials. If the special feels like it snuck up on you, that's thanks in part to no matches having been announced for the show, that being until now. On Monday, the official AEW Twitter account tweeted the first match announcement: Orange Cassidy defending his AEW All-Atlantic Championship against Kip Sabian, a match that has been building for weeks. Most recently, last week, it was weaved into the setup of Cassidy's title defense against best friend stablemate Trent Beretta, as that bout was set up by Sabian demanding a shot for eliminating Cassidy from the previous week's Battle Royale, only for Cassidy to then point out that Beretta eliminated Sabian immediately thereafter. Sabian did commentary for the Cassidy-Beretta match on Rampage, and though he didn't interfere, his wife, Penelope Ford, did distract Beretta en route to Cassidy getting the victory. The All-Atlantic title has been Sabian's main storyline focus since returning from a year-plus injury layoff last summer. He underwent surgery for an arm injury in May of 2021, and for months and months and months afterwards, he could be spotted at AEW shows with a cardboard box on his head. Sabian lost his first shot at the title at All Out 2022 in September, dropping the fall to then-champion Pac. So this is going to be his first chance to face Orange Cassidy for the bout. I don't think he would win this match, but then again, at the same time, like I mentioned with Battle of the Belts, the problem is no one cares. Like, no one cares about these shows. I will not be shocked. Remember, the last Battle of the Belts special did the lowest number it's ever done, and I don't expect that to be any different. Again, make the audience care. The AEW booking has given the audience no reason to tune in, unless you can't be bothered to turn out if you happen to tune into Rampage on Friday. That's the only reason you'd be watching Battle of the Belts. They haven't loaded up the show for anything, and I don't expect to see a massive rating at all. I expect it to be less than it was last time, frankly. We've got an update on an injury, that being to Mark Quinn. One half of Private Party will be out of action indefinitely, according to AEW star Matt Hardy. Hardy revealed in a tweet on Monday that fellow AEW wrestler Mark Quinn is dealing with an injury. Quote, "Since Mark Quinn is going to be out of action for a bit, myself and Isaiah Cassidy are marching forward," Hardy tweeted. Quinn responded and said he'll be back faster than a barefoot jackrabbit on a hot, greasy griddle in the middle of August. There was no indication of what exact injury, real or kayfabe, that Quinn might be dealing with, although in recent weeks AEW has insinuated that the Private Party tag team member has been dealing with a shoulder issue. Last week, Quinn was sent home by manager Stokely Hathaway and replaced in a 12-man tag team match with Ethan Page. Hardy and Cassidy will now go out alone and team up against Manny Lemons and Atiba. They teamed up last night on AEW Dark Elevation. The eldest Hardy brother has often teamed up with Quinn and his Private Party tag team partner Isaiah Cassidy during their time in AEW, and he's often brought them some luck when added to the mix. Despite earning 2 shots at the AEW World Tag Team Championships this year, Quinn and Cassidy have been winless on AEW's primary Dynamite and Rampage shows since November of 2021, when they teamed with Hardy for a victory over Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta. Since debuting in AEW in 2019, Private Party have been a mainstay in the promotion's tag team division, but has yet to win the tag team titles. Their biggest victory came to date in one of the earliest episodes of Dynamite, when they defeated the Young Bucks, upsetting the former champions in the first round of the AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament. But since then, they've kind of failed to match those heights. Speaking of Matt Hardy, we've got an update on his brother Jeff. Matt Hardy has opened up about his brother Jeff Hardy, noting that he was of the belief that the Hardy Boys were ultimately going to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Jeff hasn't wrestled since he and Matt Hardy defeated the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing, the pay-per-view last May. Following Jeff's DUI arrest in June of 2022, AEW suspended the star, stating that he'll only be able to return if he can prove he can maintain sobriety. On the latest episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, Matt noted that he believes that he and Jeff would have had an AEW Tag Team Championship reign if things went to plan, noting, quote, "Yeah, I think we were going to see the Hardys as the AEW World Tag Team Champions if Jeff didn't suffer that very unfortunate twist of fate. Unsure whether or not Jeff will ever return to the ring," Matt said, quote, "It's just very unfortunate, the things that happened with Jeff. Hopefully it's something that he's going to make into a positive and he's going to turn everything around in his life and he can come back and be better. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't, but we were scheduled to do all kind of things during the summer, and it really set me down a big path of detour following that, but it is what it is. It's pro wrestling where you have to adapt and change on the fly, and I've made the most of it and tried to do what I can." As far as a legal update, there have been delays when it comes to a pre-trial hearing. I think the latest is scheduled for later this month, but that ultimately could be delayed once again. When it comes to the Hardys possibly winning the AEW World Tag Team Championships, reportedly that was the plan. That was the plan for them to win the titles after Double or Nothing, and it didn't happen, and they had to go in a different direction, a different route, and it's a shame. But ultimately, the most important thing, as I've said a million times with all of this, is that Jeff Hardy gets the help he needs, and if that involves him never returning to the ring, then so be it. I've had my fill of Jeff Hardy in this lifetime. I've been very fortunate and blessed to watch him for 20 plus years. But ultimately now at this stage in his life, the most important thing is his health and his happiness and his family. This is an interesting one. Keith Lee has filed to trademark a really interesting logo. Per the United States Patent and Trademark Office, AEW star Keith Lee has filed to trademark a new logo. On December 28, Keith Lee applied to trademark an image of a stylized X. The following description accompanied the filing. The mark consists of a stylized representation of the letter X. Color is not claimed as a feature of the mark. The mark consists of a stylized representation of the letter X, and then for a ton of other reasons as to why it was being trademarked. Lee last wrestled at Ring of Honor Final Battle, teaming with Swerve Strickland to defeat J.D. Griffey and Shane Taylor in tag team action. He is now feuding with his former tag team partner, of course, that being Swerve Strickland. The popular star finished 2022 with a win-loss record of the year of 22 victories and 8 defeats. He again is in this feud with Mogul Affiliates. I don't know what that could be for. It could just be for merchandise, it could be for something else. Ultimately, I don't know. I mean, it's an X. I thought it might be. I don't know what I thought it could be, to be honest with you. I'm still not completely sure. It might be a new faction. Maybe Keith Lee feels like the best way to, counter Swerve Strickland's faction is to do one of his own. I'm not sure. So we'll have to wait and see what Keith Lee has in mind for that. But let me know your thoughts about that logo in the comment section below. But there you go, guys. That's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's AEW news stories in the comment section below. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.